Hello, my name is Dark Moon Doll, and I'm going to turn down the volume on this music. Hold on. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys about a somewhat serious topic. I was asked if I know any people that are transgender or have befriended any transgender people that are transgender. I have actually. In the past, I have when I was involved with the LGBT community. It was before the Q was on the end of it, and I used to bring about my artwork and try to put it up in some of the galleries connected with that community. Through that I met really, I think a total of probably 3 or 4 people who are transgender, and I didn't have any problems with those individuals, with those souls. Um, I had no problems with them. Very nice, very respectable. If anything, these people that I met that are transgender, they wanted to blend in to society and not stick out. At least the ones that the few individuals that I met. I even had one person that was transgender. She was transitioning into a man, and she helped me to move into the house that I lived in, that I rented for all those years. Good on her. Let me pause this. I gotta charge my phone. Hold on. Okay, now my phone's on charge mode. But yeah, sorry about that. When it's charging, it just needs to charge, right? Let me grab something to hold this better. Okay, I'm back again. Now I have something to actually hold my phone. So this is going to be a quick video because I'm charging my phone, but I could go into more elaborate answering this question. Do I know any people that are transgender? Yeah, I did in the past. I don't so much anymore. We don't keep in contact. The people that I met that are transgender, I'm sure they haven't changed their mind, after all these years. They were just wanting to live a life, as a gender that they felt like more comfortable with. That's not something that I feel connected with as my journey on this planet, but that's what these people that I encounter felt connected with. So I didn't feel like I was in any position to judge any of these people that I met because they're very kind, very respectful. One of the transgender people that I met was a male to female, and she was a grandma, and she was really, really, really awesome with her granddaughter. Really doted on her, and at the time that's how we connected because my son was young, about the same age as her granddaughter. So we connected and bonded in that way by being two people that are helping to raise a child, and marveling at the wonder of everything a child does when they discover something for the first time. It's very magical for them because they're this new soul on this planet. We're not new soul, probably old souls, but they're this soul on this planet in a new incarnation exploring. So that was really an awesome lady that I got a chance to meet and hang out with a few times, but I haven't seen her since. As just life goes on and you move away and you just don't see the people that you used to see anymore. And that's what happened. I feel kind of bad about that, but she was a really sweet and kind woman, and I'll never forget her. Most people say, oh, that's just a man, but I respected this person's right to want to, this is what they're doing for their life path. This is their spiritual path, and it has nothing to do with me, so who am I to judge that person? Let me grab some of my tea. I wanted to read you this article that I found online today by Psychology Today called "Demystifying the Transgender Movement." It seems like nowadays, recently, that it's becoming a huge thing, it has become a huge thing, especially when Caitlyn Jenner came forth. Used to be Bruce Jenner, now it's Caitlyn Jenner, and a lot of people in Hollywood are coming out as wanting to be transgender, and some of it feels like it's not authentic, that it's real. It's like they're trying to create another trend. Now, if you really pay attention, you'll see that one period of time it'll be, black men are really popular, and then they'll try to do, okay, now let's make this group of people really popular in Hollywood. And so that's what they want us to see and want us to shape our minds into thinking about how these people are. Certain people are. Get that image in your mind. But you can't rely on television and TV shows and media and these superstars that come out and say, oh, I decide I want to be a man instead of a woman. Yeah, I don't really take celebrity type of stuff that seriously. But when I meet somebody one on one, like I was talking to you about the friend I had, it means a lot. It means way more than just reading something in a tabloid or magazine or seeing somebody, oh, that actor is now, Richard Simmons is no longer a man, he's a woman now. That doesn't mean anything to me. Really, it's just more of on a personal level, meeting soul to soul someone. So I'm going to read this article to you, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on what I'm talking about right now. So let's go to that article here on Psychology Today. I'm not saying that I agree with every article that I read on this channel or my other channels. Sometimes they can be very outdated in their thinking. This article is from 2014, so not too far away into the past, but yeah, it's called Demystifying the Transgender Movement. When did gender become the one thing that we're not supposed to change? For most people, the concept of gender is a very simple thing. When you are born, a midwife, doula, doctor, or nurse looks at babies and genitals and decides whether the baby is female or male. That magic letter F or M is put on the baby's birth certificate and gender of the baby is settled, or is it? Until very recently, the T for transgender has been the stepchild of the LGBT movement. It's only in recent years that gender studies has become the hot new major in many colleges, and transgender issues are now making the cover of Time magazine and the New York Times magazine section. And why is that? Why is this now news? Men and women have been changing their appearances for a long time. The list is rather endless, from the color of their hair, plastic surgery that can alter almost every part of their bodies, from the size of their breasts to the curve of their nose. All you have to do is turn on the television to see entire documentaries based on people trying to turn themselves into living dolls, to know the lengths people are willing to go through to change their appearance. People wanting to change themselves does not stop with appearance. We all know people who have changed their names, their professions, religions, and even what part of the world they live in. People can switch their nationality without a question. So when did gender become the one thing that we're not supposed to change? I recently sat down with Mac S. McGregor, a gender activist in Seattle, to talk about demystifying gender. Seattle's mayor appointed Mac as a Seattle City Commissioner in 2011. This position has enabled him to be a voice and an activist for civil rights, including but not limited to the transgendered and gender non-conforming community. Mac is also the Transgender and Gender Nonconforming Outreach Director of Social Outreach Seattle and a board member of Seattle Counseling Center. Mac also serves on the Seattle Police Department LGBT Advisory Board. The issue of gender is now being taken very seriously by state governments and even in businesses where human resource departments are bringing in gender educators to develop policy and support industry in working fairly and legally with people of various gender identities. Of course, the first question I asked Mac was, what does the word transgender literally mean? And this is what Mac had to say. The word transgender literally means denoting or relating to a person whose self-identity does not conform unambiguously to conventional notions of male or female gender. Transgender is an umbrella term that, like sexuality, has a large spectrum to it. On one end, there is the fetish of a male-born person who has a fetish for women's clothing, to the other end, which is a person who does not feel like they were born with a body that matches who they are on the inside and goes through medical procedures to make the body and mind more congruent. Even drag queens and kings fall under a part of the transgender umbrella because what they do with part of their lives is not a part of the conventional gender norms. Maybe we call them trans light. In the middle, now we have gender queens and gender fluid people who don't want to be stuck to one side or the other of the spectrum. They want the freedom to move about according to how they may feel at the time, or they refuse to buy into any forms of binary gender system. So here's Pamela saying, binary gender system, what's that? And then Max says, when we talk about the binary gender system, we are talking about a traditional way of identifying gender. In the binary gender system, you are identified by your genitals matching your gender. And Pamela says, do you think that our society is really ready to embrace transgender or gender nonconforming people? Accepting people who are gay has been huge, and we have just turned the tide there. And then Max says, most people think breaking the gender constructs or molds in our society makes the very foundation of all that they know and understand to be solid. Although quantum physics teaches us that nothing is really solid, we still like to think that it is. It makes people think they have a better understanding, which make them feel safer. Gender is supposed to be black or white. Pick a side. You know, women are from Venus and men are from Mars. This makes life more understandable, and then I can put each person in a category that helps me know how to react to them and what to expect from them or not, right? Gender is like the rest of the world. It's really not that simple. And then Pamela says, I have been hearing a great deal about gender expression. What does that mean? And then Max says, gender expression means a person may want to dress a certain way or wear their hairstyle that may not conform with their perceived gender. Gender expression can be anywhere on a spectrum from extreme masculine to very feminine. There's also androgynic in the middle. How people present and walk in the world is a part of their gender expression. Many people are playing with how they present their gender today. We all know that every man is not the most masculine man, and every woman who is happy being a woman is not the most feminine woman, so there is so much depth to this scale or spectrum. How we dress ourselves is a way of expressing who we are sexually. Really? I don't know about that. So Pamela says, so what about sexuality? Is a person's gender expression or gender identity who they are sexually? Does how they dress tell us who they are attracted to erotically? And then Max says, no, it's all about how they feel inside. And then Pamela says, gender is a lot more complicated than I thought. Why don't I know more transgender people? Is this rare? I know lots of people that identify as gay or bisexual. And then Max says, according to recent polls, only 8% of Americans say they know someone who is transgender, while 90% claim to know someone who is gay, lesbian, or bisexual. This helps to explain why there is still so much education to do around the topic of gender in our world. I do believe that more people may know someone who is transgender, but don't know they know them. Many transgender people live a stealth life for reasons of safety, careers, family relationships, and because being transgender is still looked at as freakish. Many transgender people still have to deal with fear, doing simple things like going to a public restroom, which in some places can literally be life-threatening. The suicide rate among transgender people is the highest of any group. The poverty rate is also the highest. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of this article. I don't know how I feel about this article. It's like, whatever. I feel like I said before, the whole transgender movement, it's become like extremely like popular because of Hollywood. And there have been transgender people forever, for ages. Forever. And it was never a big deal until Hollywood decided to make it a big deal and make a huge, production out of it. A lot of these movements, I don't know, if you can consider them authentic or sincere, what have you. I really don't think you can. A lot of these movements, because a lot of these movements are just created to strike a response from you, or to shock you, or to make you hate a certain group of people or whatever, or love a certain group of people. A lot of these movements are government driven. I'm not saying this one is, I'm just saying a lot of movements are government driven. So it's not like so we can educate you about this group of people. It's just so you can see these people and we can highlight them and we can make money off of it and prosper off of it. Like the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing. You know, the whole Bruce Jenner turning into Caitlyn Jenner, and all these other people deciding that these celebrities that are wanting to go public with their transition into a different sex. I saw a documentary, I think it was beginning of last year, on Netflix that was talking about way back when people were getting these operations to change their gender, their genitalia, everything, where they wanted to be full on a whole different gender. And in that documentary, it did show it has some very serious health risks involved in doing that and altering that. My personal beliefs on reason why people feel like they're trapped in like a woman in a man's body or a man in a woman's body, I feel like there's residual past life experience in that person where they were that other gender and they're still feeling that past life. That's what I feel like. And I felt like that before. I've said that. Now, I haven't personally felt like that. I felt like that's the reason why people, when they're born into this world, a certain gender, they feel like, oh, I don't feel like I'm a girl. I feel like I'm a boy. You know, I want to be a boy. And it's those residual memories and feelings of being that gender in a past lifetime. That's what I feel strongly is what's going on. Those who are sincerely feeling that way. I feel like if they were to do a past life regression, they would find that they were probably another gender in another lifetime, and they're still feeling that, the feeling of enjoying being that gender more so than the one that they are in this current life. So that's my take on it. I have met, like I said, I have met a few transgender people, and they've been nothing but respectful to me. It's their own spiritual path. It's not my spiritual path, it's theirs. So I'm not here to tear apart and judge people. I'm not. You know, that's not a part of who I am. It's not a lifestyle that I want for myself because that's not my spiritual journey. So everybody has to find their spiritual journey and feel what feels comfortable. If that doesn't feel comfortable with you, you know, why do that? But and I can't explain why people are completely why they're deciding to change their gender because I'm not experiencing that myself. But that's what I feel intuitively is that there's that residual past life that's still hanging on, where that person was probably enjoying their life and experienced their life as a different gender, and they really thoroughly miss that, and they want to be that gender again. I'm not into telling you is this the right thing to do this operation and change your gender and do all this kind of stuff. That's a personal thing. That's something I can't relate to because that's something I would never do. I enjoy being a woman. I was born female, and I enjoy being female in this lifetime. So, even though the hurdles and the trials and tribulations that I go through with being a female, I still enjoy being who I am, who I was born for this lifetime, the gender I was born into. So, not everybody feels that way. So, but yeah, thought I'd bring that to you, answer that question for you, and yeah, you can feel free to put your comments in the comment section below, but let's not turn it into like a really nasty comment like gay bashing or trans bashing or whatever. I'm not here to bash anybody at all. So, I mean, me being an African American woman living in America, I get discriminated against a lot, and I get treated like shit a lot just because I have brown skin, and especially because I don't have conventional hair. I have very, very woolly, thick hair. Without this scarf on, my hair is everywhere, and I get judged for that shit. So, I think that it's best not to be judging people and just accept people. That's just how this person is living their life, and you're living your life on your spiritual path the way that you feel you're supposed to. So that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to support this channel, you could donate $1 or more to my PayPal at kdaddytmama@comcast.net and include a question you'd like to see answered on an upcoming show. And you can also check out my other channels that I have, BitChute and on Black Junction TV, and I'll leave all the links in the description below, as well as a link for this article that I read on today's show. So yeah, thank you for joining me. Brightest blessings to you all, and I will see you soon.